Welcome to this pivotal album episode of The Electronic Cafe. What's this all about, you might be asking? Well, yeah, Mark and I were talking. Yes, we're still going to do amazing interviews with incredible artists, both legends and new bands you want to promote. Yes, we'll still be talking about amazing new music. Yes, we'll still be celebrating albums that are 40 years old. But across our lives, we just said, you know what, there's some albums that we just kind of want to call out, recognise that made an impact on not just Mark and me, but most of you amazing people out there in electronic cafe land. So we just thought we're going to kind of create this sort of sub-series or whatever you want to call it, talking about albums that just changed everything. And this first album that Mark and I decided to do, there's so many we want to talk about, you know, because not every album we looked at is 40 years old, which is why another reason we're doing this. But the first album we thought we'd look at, and Mark agreed it was a great shout, thank you, brother, was this beauty. So, Scary Monsters, Super Creeps, its full title, better known as simply Scary Monsters. You know, and the reason I kind of thought that would be a good one to kick this off with was it's almost at the centre point of everything that Bowie did before. And when the 80s hit, it kind of hit that spot of the whole new romantic scene and just fitted in so well with that whole club culture, sound, everything he learnt from Berlin. And then he went forward and did some other stuff, right? Obviously up till Black Star with his sad demise in 2016. So we just thought this would be a really good album because to us, it's one of Bowie's pivotal albums. Yes, there'll be people going, it's not his best album. Maybe you're right. I really struggle to say what is the greatest Bowie album ever. Obviously, there's the Berlin Trilogy. And I'm going to be really pedantic and say I love Earthling. I think it's just awesome. Got a drum and bass album. But I think this album, Scary Monsters.
Scary Monsters is widely regarded as the final chapter of Bowie's incredible creative run that included Low, Heroes and Lodger, and it marked a triumphant return to commercial success without sacrificing any artistic ambition, and without doubt the perfect bridge between his experimental Berlin years and the more mainstream success later in the 80s.
It was his 14th studio album. It was released in the 12th of September in 1980. And it was his first album following the amazing Berlin Trilogy of Low, Heroes and Lodger. This was Bowie's attempt at creating a much more commercial record after that trilogy, you know, and it proved successful artistically. Although the trilogy proved, although very successful artistically, less so commercially. Obviously, he had his partner in crime, Mr. Tony Visconti, and it was recorded, to say, between February and April in 1980 at the Power Station, New York, and Good Earth Studios in London. And look, much of the same personnel from prior releases returned for the sessions, but there's additional personnel with guitar by Chuck Hammer and Robert Fripp. And also, and I didn't know this actually until I started sort of researching this, a guest appearance by the mighty Pete Townsend.
4 hit singles were released from the album: Fashion, Scary Monsters, Up the Hill Backwards, and of course the brilliant Ashes to Ashes, which revisited the character Major Tom from Space Oddity. Its groundbreaking music video, directed by David Mallet, became one of the most influential and expansive videos ever made at the time, helping define MTV and the era before it was even launched. Another single, Fashion, was more than just a pop song. Although funky and instantly catchy, Fashion was a sharp satire of conformity, trends and consumer culture. Its turn to the left, turn to the right cleverly mocks the herd mentality surrounding fashion and popular culture.
Fashion, turn to the left, fashion, turn to the right. Fashion, we are the Goon Squad and we're coming to town.
look, this incorporates elements of art rock, new wave, post-punk. But unlike and I guess this is why it stands out as a quality album, unlike the improvisational nature of prior releases, Bowie really spent time writing the music and the lyrics. And several were recorded under working titles, and some just contained almost like reworked elements of earlier unreleased songs. And the good thing about Scary Monsters, it did garner commercial and critical acclaim. It topped the UK albums chart and restored Bowie's commercial standing in the US. I think it reached number 12 in the States, but number 1 over here.
The album was the birth of the iconic Pyro Clown Bowie, the legendary artwork and the Ashes to Ashes video, featuring numerous members of the famous Blitz Club, where Blitz kids were recruited just the night before, introduced Bowie as the melancholy Pyro Clown inspired by mime artist Lindsay Kemp, and an image that became one of the most enduring visuals of Bowie's career.
The shrieking when nothing is killing, just pictures of trap girls and synthesis. And I ain't got no money and I ain't got no hands. Songs that please but I'm hoping to kick because glad it is glowing. Ashes to ash and fuck to fuck it. We know Major Tom's.
It was Bowie's final studio album for RCA and the final collaboration between him and the mighty Tony Visconti for over 20 years. Several publications have actually considered it one of the greatest albums of all time. I can see why, because I said earlier, Bowie took time composing and developing the lyrics and the melodies. And he wanted the musicians to make sure they adhered to his thought-out structures before adding their own personal touches. As I mentioned earlier, many of the tracks had working titles early on. Some of these included People Are Turning to Gold, which became Ashes to Ashes. It Happens Every Day was Teenage Wildlife. Jamaica became The Incredible Fashion. And Cameras in Brooklyn was Up the Hill Backwards. And I'm a Laser, Scream Like a Baby, which was originally written and recorded in 1973 by a group of Bowie collaborators known as the Astronauts.
Many see Scary Monsters as the final masterpiece before Bowie's more commercially driven 80s output. After Scary Monsters came the huge Let's Dance album, which made him a global superstar, but many fans regard Scary Monsters as the last album of that classic experimental period.
Scary Monsters received universal praise from music critics. Record Mirror, I love this, awarded it a rating of 7 stars out of 5. It was that good. The same publication voted Bowie the best male singer of 1980, as did the Daily Mirror. Smash Hits gave it a 9 out of 10, describing it as possibly his most consistently effective long player, that's using an old word, of all. Melody Maker called it an eerily impressive stride into the 80s. And I kind of get that. The video he did with Steve Strange and everything, it was all timed perfectly with the rise of the new romantic era and all the bands that, we all grew to love from that era. And then I think it was Deborah Ray Cohen of Rolling Stone found the record to be a clarification of Bowie's collaborations with Eno and similar in vein to Aladdin Sane. High praise indeed. Further in finding Bowie settling old scores throughout Scary Monsters. Fellow critic David Marsh considered it one of Bowie's best, saying, "If this is new art rock, I'm all for it." And the New York Daily News' Clint Roswell likely wise hailed the record as Bowie's best in years, naming Ashes to Ashes, Fashion, Because You're Young, and the title track as songs that recognise the artist as the preeminent figure in pop.
As a 15-year-old in 1980, it is without doubt my favourite Bowie album. Scary Monsters is such a pivotal album, and it became the blueprint for many of the artists who emerged in the early 80s. Bowie was embraced by this new scene, and bands such as Duran Duran, Japan and Visage all drew inspiration from its blend of art rock, electronic textures and fashion-forward aesthetics.
Look, I knew we had to start somewhere looking at albums that really hit like a hurricane, and you're going to see more of these as we work through this series. And it's really hard because there's so many, but we had to put this in. One, because I'm Bowie's biggest fan, and I know Mark absolutely loves him too. I've got pretty much everything he's ever done. He's my number one favourite male artist of all time. And this album And I love all the previous stuff, and I love some of the stuff afterwards. But it's just hit that centre sweet spot of he did so much great stuff, and he could still cut it when there was all these amazing bands coming out, and he really got in that storm of what was going on with bands like Depeche Mode and everything else. Much loved and sadly missed, but never forgotten. I think this is one of Bowie's masterpieces, and it absolutely deserves to be highlighted as an EC pivotal album. So hope you like this, and look out for more episodes.
Blue sky.